What we do here is go back.
Okay guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to change your oil on your 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. Right now I'm at Canadian Tire. I'm just picking up my oil filter. I already got some of the oil that we're going to need and I have my thing, but I got to go to my girlfriend's house to get some tools because I don't have my own tools. So yeah, that's the game plan. What's poppin', y'all? It's that 3G GT here, and today we're going to be doing an oil change for the 3G Eclipse. So as you can see, everything here is laid out for what you need for the 3G Eclipse. So you're going to need a socket with a 17mm and a ratchet. You're going to need a marker. You're going to need an oil filter, which is this boy here. You're going to need a funnel. You're going to need your oil. You're going to need some ramps if you're lower like me to get the car off the ground. You're going to need an oil catch can like this. You're going to need some jack stands, and you're going to need a jack. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your wood, if you have a lowered car like me, and you're going to want to put it on the wood so you can get your jack underneath. If you have a low profile jack, you don't need to do that, but I don't, so.
Big job.
The car up on the piece of wood, we're ready to jack this thing up. So you want to make sure that this thing is aligned, and this is the part where you can actually jack up your car. And just make sure it's going in the right place. So that looks like it's okay. So I'm going to keep going. And that is okay. We have a lift off. Then you gotta take your jack stand for safety and you're gonna put it under the subframe. So. And right here, that's your subframe. So that's where you can put your jack stand. So I'm just gonna slowly let that down from the jack onto that. There we go. Originally I was going to jack up both sides, but honestly, to save you some time, you don't need to do that on this car. You can get to the drain plug and the oil filter from just one side. So I'm just going to leave it at one jack stand. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to want to take your oil catch can. You're going to want to put it out underneath where your oil drain plug is. So we'll do that now. So just slide that boy underneath there, and I'll show you where your oil drain plug is. Okay, so as you can see, we're under the car. Right here is your oil pan, and here is your oil drain plug. So what you're going to want to do is, this is a 17mm bolt, so you're going to want to take your socket and this ratchet, and you're going to want to loosen this up, and then your oil is going to fall into this catch can. So I just use this ratchet right here just to get it loose. It shouldn't be that tight. There we go. So after you use this socket to crack this thing loose, you can actually loosen this thing by hand. But a trick so that you don't get your hand dirty, and it's really hard to not get your hand covered in oil, but oil is going to want to come out of here. So when you're loosening this, not for the first little bit, but actually apply pressure back towards the oil pan, so that way oil doesn't shoot out. And depending how, oh, it's gonna get me. There we go. It wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad, but yeah. So we're just gonna let that all drain out. Now we're just gonna be waiting for all that oil to drain out, and then we'll be back to do the oil filter. So now we have that oil, and there's a little bit draining out of the oil pan, but not very much. So now we're gonna have this right here so we can remove our oil filter. Okay, so as you can see, you're gonna go lefty loosey, and this thing is gonna start to loosen. Be careful because there's gonna be some oil that's gonna wanna drip, so do that same thing where you apply pressure on the filter. Oh crap. And yeah, you know what, whatever, screw it, it's already dirty. Just keep on loosening, and there you go. So as you can see, this is the surface where you actually put the oil filter. I like to just go ahead and clean this up, just so that way when you put your new one, you get a nice good thing. I know you're gonna put oil on it, but it's just nice to clean it up a little bit. So as you can see, here is the old oil and the old oil filter. So after you have your thing, this is all drained out. This is your actual oil pan. It's just dripping, so it's basically empty. I'm just gonna clean this here, and you're gonna take your drain plug and you're just gonna screw it in here. So here, I'll just clean that up, and then just screw in your drain plug, hand tighten it, and then take your socket here, and then you're gonna just give it a little tighten. There we go. Doesn't have to be crazy because you want to be able to loosen it the next time you have to do this. So there you go. So as you can see, this is the oil filter that you're going to need for this specific car, but check and see which oil filter you need for your application. Maybe it's different for the 4-cylinder, but for the V6, this is what you need. Now that you have your new oil filter, you're just going to take your funnel and you're going to fill up the oil filter a little bit. That was a lot, but okay, we're good. There we go. Just leave that like that. Before you actually put in the oil filter, you just want to take a little bit of this oil and apply it to the actual ring, so that way this oil filter gets a nice seal. So just apply a little thin layer like that, and that will give you a nice seal on this new filter. So now you're going to take your new oil filter and you're just going to put it on there. No screw in. Sorry. I had some oil in and I spun it kind of fast, so some oil just came out, but you just want to hand tighten it like that. There we go. And your oil filter is now installed. So now we have our oil drain plug officially in, and we have our new oil filter in, so we're ready to lower the car now. So you're going to want to find your jack point, and you're going to want to jack the car up again. And then after you have the car cranked up, you're going to be able to remove the jack stand. There you go. Onto the wood now that there's nothing underneath. So we're going to slowly lower onto the brick. There we go. Perfect. Pull the hood release to pop the hood. The oil you want to use in this car is 5W30. I choose Pennzoil, but that's what oil this car takes, and it takes 4 liters and 4.2 quarts of oil. So now that you have your hood popped, you're going to want to open this up and use your hood strut to hold up your hood. And then you're going to want to take your oil of choice and you're going to want to fill it up in here. Here's your oil fill cap. So this is where you're going to top off your oil. So you're just going to take this off like that, twist to the left, and it's going to come up. Now take a clean cloth and you can just wipe that off. And then you're going to need to take your funnel here, and then you're going to start filling up with a bit of oil. So I'm just going to start going. Okay, so now we have the car filled up. This car holds 4.2 quarts or 4 liters of oil. So we haven't filled up to go close to that, but we're going to top it off after. We're just going to get it off the wood for now. So we're good to start this thing up now. you have that on, and make sure that your oil dipstick is on good, and then you're good to shut it. We're gonna now open this up and we're gonna top it off with the last half a liter that we have to add, and then we'll be able to put away the old oil. So now we're just topping off the motor. I'm shutting this oil fill cap here, and as you can see on this oil dipstick, we're perfectly just under the full mark there. So this car is good to go. Now that you're finished with your oil change, you're just going to take this hood strut, and now you can shut your hood for good. And there you go. Now you've finished your oil change. As you can see, you're going to put your old oil filter in that new package, but you're going to want to keep the lid of your new oil filters package, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then you're just going to take this, like an empty container or such, and then you're going to want to discard of this oil. So how it works on this one at least, just put this like this, and then it's gonna fill up just like that. So you're gonna want to put your lid on so you're not spilling this stuff, because it's pretty nasty. Here's your nasty oil, which you're gonna want to get rid of. So discard of that however you have to in your state or province or whatever you want to call it. As you can see, my car's at 150,757 kilometers. So that is what the mileage I'm going to write down on the top piece of paper. So as you can see, this is the last oil change I had, and we just did that today. So I just wrote the date and what mileage you did the oil change at. Congratulations, you completed an oil change.